How about now? Can you hear me now? Yes? Can you hear me now? No? Hopefully you guys can hear me now. Please let me know if you can hear me. If not, we're going to have to make some adjustment here. Are you able to hear me now? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Kay, she said we got sound now, so hopefully you're hearing now. All right. Well, I'm not going to start too far back. I'm just going to run through what we've been. Thank you so much, Kay. I'm going to run through what we've been talking about. I was just following up that last week we are in our growth cycle series right now, the growth cycle series, right? And last week we talked about planting. We talked about planting the seeds to. Thank you so much. We're talking about planting the seeds to bring our visions and our dreams to reality, right? And thank you all for joining, and thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. We are in the Growth Cycle series, and tonight we are in episode 2 of the Growth Cycle series. Last week was very good information, so if you missed it, I would encourage you to go back and watch last week's, and then you can even watch this week all over again so that you can get all of what we're talking about. But last week we talked about our vision and our dream as it compares to even planting and planting seeds, putting seed in the ground, right? Because whatever you're planting is what you're going to grow. And if you don't plant anything, number one, not going to grow anything. But if you plant seeds that are only going to bring you weeds, that's what you're going to get. But tonight we are talking because we moved from that place and we know what we're planting, right? Ladies, y'all know what you're planting, don't you? Are you planting a good seed for a good harvest? If you're planting a good seed for a good harvest, go ahead and let me know in in the chat. I'm planting the good seed for the good harvest, right? And then we're planting it on good ground, right? We're planting it in good soil. We're watering it. We're giving it whatever it needs to grow, right? So we're in this growth cycle. Now, this could be your ministry, this could be your business, this could be an outreach, whatever it is that you are trying to grow, you have to follow the steps. There is a process, and we talked about that on last week. So today, episode 2, we're talking about protecting what you're growing, right? We talked a little bit about some of the things and the obstacles that come up and that come in the way of what we are trying to grow. But tonight we're going to go just a little bit further in it. And we're not going to be long because I've got another engagement just shortly that I need to get on. Uh, One of the most frustrating, common things that I hear, people are frustrated and they talk very often about how they got started. I got started, but I couldn't go any further. I started, but I got stuck. I just don't know what to do next. I got started, and now I'm here and I'm at a crossroads, right? I started strong, but I didn't finish anything. So now we want to say I was clear, but then I lost momentum. I got clear. I had clarity. I knew where I was going because we started this season off. We talked about alignment. We talked about clarity. So we had that clarity. We had that momentum. We was excited. We was excited and ready to go, but we lost that momentum. Something happened along the way, right? And most of the time, the issue is not our motivation, but it's our discipline. It's the discipline, right? So here we're talking about the things that we need to do. It's protecting the vision, it's protecting what you are trying to grow. One of the things that we also talked about was tending to your garden, tending to your seeds that you're planting. So I think I brought a point out last week where someone mentioned recently how, I believe it was my bishop, he was talking about how he put some seeds in the plant, right? He put some seeds in the soil and put it in the planter, and then a few hours later, he's going back. Thank you, Kay. He's going back and he's looking to see, is anything growing? Is anything growing? No, it's not going to grow that fast. But you can't get distracted and discouraged because you don't see growth right away. You still have to make sure that you do what is required for your seed to grow, right? You can plant with intention and still lose ground if what you started is not guarded. So we also talked about how, I know my ex husband used to have a big garden. He put a big garden out behind his mom's house and his dad's house, and he was growing all these great things, but there were some things that he could not grow. Every time he would try to grow it, there were certain different issues that would come about. One issue was there was not enough sunlight on one part of the land, right? The other issue was animals would come and eat what he was growing. There were so many different issues. Even though he would go out and he would just turn the soil over, he would do everything he needed to do. And so these are some of the things that we encounter even with our vision. We encounter things that we did not plan for. They just happen to pop up, and we get discouraged because we did not protect what it was that we planted. So the first thing is making sure that you know that the ground that you are planting on is good ground. Now, in the church world, we pray, talk all the time about letting letting God's word fall on good ground. It's the same in our ministry and in our business. It's got to be good ground. It's got, yes, yes, elder. It's got to be good ground. It's got to be good soil, because if you are planting and you're not putting it in the right spaces, the weeds might grow up around it. And what happens when the weeds grow up around it? They begin to choke the life out of what it is that you're trying to grow. And the next thing you know, you're going to see nothing but dried leaves and dried branches and nothing with any life to it, right? So the same goes for your business, for your ministry, for your outreach, whatever it is that you are doing. You have to make sure that it is good ground. You have to guard your seed. You have to guard your ground. You have to guard the place where you are planting. So tonight we're talking about protecting what you're growing through boundaries, focus, and follow through. So it's not about doing more, but it's about guarding what already matters. It's about guarding what you already started working on. So I'm going to go through 3 points real quick. I believe it's 3 points, maybe four. But the first one is starting is easy, but sustaining is the work, right? We get excited when we start something. We get excited when we begin. But the main thing is remembering uh, that you have an assignment that has to be carried through all the way through what you're doing. Sometimes you're full of energy, you looking at all the possibilities, but there's no sustainability. Your sustainability requires your intention even after those exciting moments fade, right? So if you want to sustain what you have, even when the excitement dies down, you still got to press through. When you are sometimes starting a new business or a new venture, and everybody is like tapping into it. Oh yeah, 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 right? Everybody's sharing, everybody's buying all this stuff, And then just think about it, maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month later, crickets. You hear nothing, you see nothing, right? You know, that's when we feel like momentum is lost. There are interruptions, but you can't quit. You cannot quit, because that's how you lose the ability to protect what you are growing. So interruptions can come like over committing yourself. We talked about that on last week. Over committing yourself, not learning how to say no. Sometimes you just got to say no, because if you want to put your focus over here, you can't be doing 15 other things at the same time. And I know many of us think that we think we are those wonders that can do so much. Reacting to everything does not require our response or our reaction. Some things we have to just sit back, and as praying women, we need to sit back and pray and ask God which way to move next, right? Um, Even letting other people's urgencies override our priorities. Again, sometimes we just have to say no. They used to say a lot of times, just because it's urgent for you does not mean it's urgent for me. Some things that are emergencies for you is not an emergency for me. So protection starts when you decide ahead of time what you're going to give that access to. So ask yourself, what usually pulls me off track once I get started? What is it that takes my attention away? What is it that gets in the way of what I'm trying to do when I'm trying to commit myself? All right, let's go to point two. Point two is boundaries support growth. So when we put those boundaries in, it's not being harsh, it's not being mean, it's not, being overly powerful, but it is just supporting our ministry, supporting our vision, supporting what we need to take place. That is where the boundaries are for us, right? Are there any things in your life that you say to yourself, I can't commit to that right now. I just can't do it. I need space so I can focus. Or that no longer aligns with my priorities. If you don't establish the boundaries intentionally, overwhelm will. If you don't if you don't establish boundaries intentionally, getting overwhelmed will set those boundaries for you. So in advance, you need to protect what you're growing. You need to set the boundaries so that you know today is Monday. I need to take 15 minutes. I need to tend to my vision. I need to tend to my dream, my passion. I need to tend to my ministry, right? And then you have to say to yourself, where am I saying yes out of habit instead of out of alignment? Think about those things that's pulling your attention and taking away your focus, and decide how you can change those things and those moments, and move the things that bring you too much of a distraction and don't allow you to focus where you need to focus, right? All right, point number three, focus is a form of protection. So when we focus, that's when we're protecting what it is that is in our heart and in our spirit that God has given us. Because our visions and our dreams come from God, right? And if they don't, we probably on the wrong path anyway. So you need to find a way to focus so that you can protect what it is that you have. Focusing preserves your energy. Anybody ever, realize that when you start doing too much, You don't even have energy. You can't even decide which way to go, to the left, to the right. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Who was that? Kay, if you're still on here, I know you popped up your thing the other day. You were so tired, right? Right? I'm not gonna shout you out too much, but sometimes overdoing things, doing too much, trying to do too much at one time can cause friction. It can cause almost total damage to what you're doing. So we have to learn how to focus, right? Every unnecessary split of attention dilutes our growth. So when we're trying to be this to this person, that to that person, this to that person, this to that person, and this person gets neglected, it's going to dilute our growth. We're going to miss out. We're going to miss out on some things. I know, always tired because we always trying to do so much. Trying to do so much. And we trying to, we're trying to make things work. But sometimes we have to sit down and we have to devise a plan, right? So this season is not requiring urgency. It's requiring attention over time. So if everything feels important, nothing gets the care that it needs. So you have to prioritize. What's more important for me to do right now? What's more important for me to take care of right now? Get yourself a calendar. Get yourself, a planner. And yes, put down every moment if you need to. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So you have to choose one primary focus. Everything else becomes secondary, not eliminated, but just prioritized. Protecting focus is one of the strongest growth decisions that you can make. Protecting your focus is one of the strongest growth decisions that you can make. All right, point four, follow through needs support, not willpower. Okay, so it's not about trying harder, it's about your environment. You need the environment that's going to support what it is that you're trying to do. So again, when we're talking about going out into that garden, if you see many gardeners, they will put that the wire around, and sometimes they'll even loop some of the leaves or the branches so that it grows the way they want it to grow, not growing all over the place and allowing it to get all tangled and trampled down, or even go back down in the ground and get covered in the dirt all over again, right? So there's a process. There is a process to it. So ask yourself, is my schedule supporting what I'm growing? Is my schedule supporting what I'm growing? Are my routines reinforcing my priorities? Am I just doing things habitually every day and not prioritizing things the way that they should be prioritized? Because we can do that. We can do that. Some people, they leave the house at 8:42. They get in the car, they drive to work, they go to work, they do work, they come back out, they come back home, they do this, and they go to bed. Some people, they're doing the same thing over and over and over, but they're not prioritizing the things that really matter. And then they say, I don't have time to do the things that I want to do. It's because you only prioritized one thing, right? Am I relying on motivation or structure? It's easy to be motivated, but if you don't have the structure, you will probably, as we said in the beginning, be that beginner that's always starting something and getting excited, but having no momentum, no finishing, just getting started and never stopping, never getting to the next level. Protection often means adjusting your pace, adjusting your access, adjusting your expectations. and realizing that you don't need more strength, you need more support. So, I want you to ask yourself a few more questions. What am I doing that needs protection? What am I doing that needs protection? Hmm? There's something that I'm working on, but I've been letting it hang and I'm not giving it the attention that I need to give it. And so I'm not protecting that vision. I'm not protecting what it is that I need to be protecting. But one intentional adjustment can shift everything. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, I want you to take a moment and write down. I used to sit down a lot and write down how my day was planned for the next day. And then I would look and see where there were things that I just did not need to do, or things that I was omitting that I should be doing. Take that moment and sit down and write it out. And then get into the habit at the beginning of the week or the end of the week, writing out something that you want to accomplish for the next week. It might just be one goal. That's okay. You don't have to do 15,000 things in one week. That's not what we're saying here. But we want you to protect that one thing that's important, that's your priority, that you need to focus on right now. Thank you, Elder. So get that pen and paper out. You should always have a pen and a piece of paper somewhere, right? I got more notebooks than I need to have. All right, so just as a wrap it up, many women don't struggle with starting, they struggle with sustaining. That is the issue. Keeping the momentum, keeping the flow, keeping in line and the focus where it needs to go. All right. So I want you to work on those things and remember that growth isn't just about what you plant, but it's about what you protect. All right. That's it for tonight. That's it for tonight. I'm so proud of myself. I did that in just a few minutes. Y'all know I'll be going on and on. But tonight we're going to just remember that we're going to do some things a little bit differently. All of us. We're going to make sure, even if you've been doing it well all the time, go back and just read and make sure that your focus is in the right place, that you are prioritizing the right things, and that you are on the right path. All right. Well, I am Gwen. I am here uh, just to bring you this good news. And I'm thankful for each of you that join me on tonight, those of you that will catch the replay. And make sure that you come back on next week. We're going to be hitting our last part of this series. And if you enjoyed this series, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this series, share the stream. Let somebody else hear what they need to hear and take it in. And I appreciate you all. And you all just, you're such wonderful women, and I know you're doing great things. So, all right. So I just want to remind you also, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Elder Jane. I just want to remind you also that you can get your copy of Visionary Momentum Unleashed. That is available. You can go to Amazon.com, or you can go to my website. And here I'm going to actually just put it up here, the QR code. You can just click on that code, either one of those codes, and it will take you directly to the book. Also, um, if you don't know, I am a visionary startup coach. I'm also a book coach and a personal development coach. So if you have a desire to move further and move differently, do something different than what you've been doing, let's have a discovery call. Let's chat. I put the book a call over here. over here, book a call. All right, so you can hit that QR code as well, and you can sign up on my calendar so that we can chat and we can see how we can get you started or get you moving to the next level. Listen, I'm excited to be coming to you on tonight, and I appreciate you taking the time. I honor your time, and so we're going to let you go. Have a great, wonderful, wonderful night, and be blessed.